Okay, I guess we are live. Do you hear me well? Okay, I guess we are live. Do you hear me well? Okay, I guess we are live. Okay, can do you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, nice. It's probably someone had this YouTube video turned on, and that's why we had an echo. Yeah, make sure it is like not running. I mean, that video is not enabled.
Cool.
Okay, so for everyone who joined our virtual meetup, we'll be having like a 5 minute of warm up to wait for everyone else to join, and after that we'll start our slides, our presentations, and feel free everyone to leave your comments on the YouTube stream. We'll go through them after all slides are over. On the Q&A session, we'll address each of them, so do not worry.
Cool. And it looks like people are joining now. Nice.
Yeah.
How are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. A bit tired because it's already 6 p.m. in my region, but overall pretty okay.
Yeah. And it's morning for me, so I'm not that tired. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, it's the same from me in Poland. It's 6 p.m. here, and the weather is kind of not good, but overall it's good.
And it's 5 p.m. here in Dublin, and it's actually kind of nice right now. If you had asked me 10 minutes ago, I would have said differently, but it's quite nice now. It's very Irish, changeable weather.
So it looks like that the weather is in Ireland is similar to the weather in Amsterdam. Right now I'm in Amsterdam with business visit, and today we had some meetings with our users, and it was great. And Ivan?
Yeah, I'm Ivan, and yeah, we were together meeting one of our users in Amsterdam. Yeah, the weather is good. Getting colder. Yeah, autumn is coming.
As they say, it's in Ireland. There is no flowers without rain, right?
Wise words. So I have a quick question for you. Since our last meetup in summer, how many major releases did we have? Anyone knows?
Do you include LTS releases? Or?
No. New major releases.
Okay.
We had one, and we'll talk about it later.
No, I mean like VictoriaMetrics, the main repo on GitHub. So for those who don't know, we had 3. And since we have a quarter meetup, like every 3 months, means 1 release per month, right?
This means that the pace of releases has been slowed down compared to the previous year. The previous years, I remembered we made roughly one release per 2 weeks, and in this
Major.
year, huh?
You mean major release?
Major release, yeah.
Yeah, because overall we had 9 releases.
In the previous year?
No, like for these 3 months we had 9 releases.
I see. I mentioned I mean major release. I think that's good. So that we have one major release per 1 month right now, because users don't need to hurry up with catching up with new releases every 2 weeks. Now they need to hurry up with new release per month. And, that's better.
Okay, so I guess we already have 6 minutes, so I will try to start the presentation. I'm adding my slides right now. Everyone see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will slow down this slide for a moment. Maybe someone will join us, but what will happen today? So today's agenda is consists from a couple of slides. The first slide will be by me about all updates that happened to our VictoriaMetrics project. Not all, but those that I decided to mention at least for the last 3 months since our last virtual meetup. By the way, I will remind you that we're trying to keep this schedule of having meetup once per 3 months to keep community updated, to show what we are working on, to get a feedback, just to share the news that happened to the product, to the company, to us as well. So yeah, please subscribe and press on the like button so you will be notified next time when we decide to make a new meetup. Yeah, so the first slides will be by me about updates. Next, we will have slides about update to managed VictoriaMetrics. We have one, if you didn't know. We also will have update on anomaly detection and update on VictoriaLogs from Aliaksandr Valialkin. And the last one will be an update about community, what happened to VictoriaMetrics team. And yeah, JJ and Dennis will share that. About questions, we will try to collect all the questions and answer them on the Q&A session. Q&A session will be after all the slides. So yeah, feel free to leave your comments on the YouTube channel under this stream, and we will read them and answer them on the Q&A session. Okay, cool. So what's new in VictoriaMetrics at Q3? So we had a few of new team members. So we have Haley, who joined us recently and last month, if I'm not mistaken, and she is mostly interested in working on the Kubernetes operator, on Helm charts, on vmalert. You probably seen her in our public channels. She is doing great in answering tricky questions. So yeah, I guess Helm charts and operator will be improved significantly. We also have Ivan, who is now leading managed VictoriaMetrics direction. We have Fred and Daria, who are working on the anomaly detection. Yeah, so welcome to VictoriaMetrics team. What else we have? So IndexedDB improvements. So a few months ago or something like that, I don't remember exactly, we made a significant change to the IndexedDB files, how IndexedDB is actually stored. And this improvement is especially important for those installations which have really high pressure, high load of time series, and specifically really high churn rate. So for those who don't know what is churn rate, is when time series are replaced with a newer time series. And this usually blows the index DB and requires much more memory than expected when the churn rate is low. And for some installations where churn rate is pretty high, this improvement can reduce memory usage by up to 5 times. You see a screenshot of the tweet made by Alex, and this is a screenshot from one of users of VictoriaMetrics, and it reduced the memory usage by 5 times. Of course, it's not applicable for all installation, but mostly vulnerable ones with high churn rate will get significant improvement. So if you hesitated to update, please go ahead. It is available from 1.92, but we recommend you to stick to the latest versions. What else? OpenTelemetry support, finally. Like, you remember that we celebrated this 1-year anniversary on the last meetup, and I guess Alex was so ashamed, so he reviewed this PR a few days after, and it is finally merged and available. You can find these prompt docs about how to use OpenTelemetry, basically how to push metrics in OpenTelemetry format to the vmagent and to the vm insert. Yeah, so please try, let us know your feedback. From what I know, there are already users, and we fixed a couple of bugs in this protocol, but yeah, I guess it works now, and vmagent can be used for OpenTelemetry ingestion. What else to vmagent? So we were focused mostly on this streaming aggregation feature for vmagent, and most of the updates are touching improvements in this area. So for those who are not familiar what streaming aggregation is, it is alternative to recording rules which are happening before data gets ingested into the main time series database, into the VictoriaMetrics. So aggregation happens on the collector, on the vmagent, and this helps to significantly reduce pressure on the time series database. And what we improved here, so vmagent now supports time series sharding, which enables horizontal scaling of streaming aggregation. For when vmagent need to calculate really big amounts of data and one instance just can handle it, then you can scale it horizontally. And time series sharding helps to achieve consistent aggregation with multiple vmagents. We also improved support for metrics which are collected with irregular intervals. Mostly this was a feature request to support lambdas, which can generate metrics spontaneously, not regularly like you're used to in Prometheus ecosystem, but spontaneously, and that sometimes broke streaming aggregation, and now users can control that. Match selector, which is the main field for configuring stream aggregation, also got an enhancement. It's now an array of time series selector with regex support, so it's much easier to configure it. And also each vmagent shard in the cluster mode now has an option to add a unique label to uniquely identify metrics produced by this chart. What else? vmauth updates. So vmauth now exposes metrics which helps you to measure the request duration per user. And this is very useful for measuring SLOs on the monitoring system. vmauth also can now retry requests to remain in backends, depending on the specific status code. This is specifically useful when you have multiple availability zones, for example, and you have vmauth in front of those availability zones. And if one zone will fail, vmauth will retry request to another availability zone. And yeah, this improves such setup significantly. And the security update for vmauth, now it is possible to override or clear request and response headers for each specific user. And we also plan to add it like on the global level to strip the headers on the global level if user wants to do that. What else? vmalert updates. So a small change to the user interface. Now it will show you if hot reload config failed right in the user interface. it will also continue to emit in logs and metrics for failed configurations as well. We improved remote write reliability. We added support for keep firing for parameter. That's a new param for alerting rules from Prometheus, and we added it for feature parity. And the new option eval offset, which can be set on the group level, which helps you to specify the specific moment on the time interval when rule need to be executed. It's similar to cron jobs. For example, if you have evaluation interval like once per hour, with eval offset, you can decide on which minute of this hour the rule need to be executed, like on each 5th minute of the hour it needs to be executed, instead of random moment on the interval like it was before. User interface for VictoriaMetrics. So we got support of active queries. In the Explore tab, you now have this option, active queries, which shows you all the active, currently running in real-time queries on this VictoriaMetrics installation, which is useful when some query is working slowly and you want to know exactly what is making VictoriaMetrics slow right now. You can check this tab and see what queries are executing right now. We also get some improvements to usability improvements. For example, vmui can now detect those queries which do not match any time series. The same features that we discussed on the previous meetup for vmalert. Now it is also available in user interface vmui. If you made a mistake, a typo in the query, it will show you that nothing was matched, so probably you have a typo there. And prettify query, a new button which helps you to auto-format queries entered in the text area. This feature is available on VictoriaMetrics backend. You can use them in your custom application. vmui uses it to format queries. Grafana plugin uses it to format queries. So cool feature to have. And query history. Now vmui maintains this history of queries, which you can open right as in the interface. You can add query to favorites and reuse it without typing it again. Also, updates to Grafana data source plugin. So data source plugin was added to VictoriaMetrics dashboards now. So we have 2 versions of the dashboards with Prometheus data source and with VictoriaMetrics data source. They are available on our main repo in the dashboards folder. You can use them if you would like. We also add any change to Prometheus versioned dashboards as then replicated to VictoriaMetrics version dashboards. So they all should be up to date. Also, VictoriaMetrics data source was added to Kubernetes stack. So yeah, it is also included there. And updates to the plugin itself, we a bit changed how WIS templates are working. It is now far more easier to use them. They're available right in the dashboard, and it is so much easier. And I recommend everyone to check this feature because it's super cool. I also showed how this feature works on the recent PromCon, which happened last week. You can see what I did, how I presented it on this via this link on YouTube. It is like lightning talk. It was 4 or 5 minutes about presenting this feature, and I think it's really great. So I recommend everyone to just check a video and see how it can work, how this WIS templates can work. Okay, this is a bad slide. Okay, what else we get? So we rewrote Kubernetes operator docs, and this was a titanic work. A lot was changed, and we believe now it will be much more clear to get into the operator docs, because really big thanks to the Aliaksandr Marshall who did all this work. As you see, he added 63,000 of lines. I guess a lot of them are just pictures in Excalibur, But yeah, it was huge work, and we hope it will improve user experience. Having good docs is very important. And about docs, we are working on improving VictoriaMetrics docs as well. It is mostly Artem's work. You can check the link mentioned on this slide and see how we hope new docs will look like. It is almost done, but we're still open to your feedback. Maybe we need to improve something, maybe we need to change something, but once we're happy, this is how new docs will look like. So I invite everyone to check it and leave your feedback. And just updates, like a lot happened apart from what I said. I just highlighted some features, but we have like a big change log with a lot of bug fixes, a lot of minor improvements. We also made plenty of releases to our LTS versions for delivering bug fixes to there. Metric scale was updated with cool new functions and enhancements. We updated our Grafana dashboards and updated our alerting rules to account for new metrics or be more useful. We added this Grafana versioned dashboard. We delivered a lot of updates and bug fixes to Helm charts and Kubernetes operator, thanks to Haley and Nikolai and Alex Marshalov. And also, what is also, I think, is super cool, we added a playground. So playground is available at playgrafana@VictoriaMetrics.com, and it's a Grafana instance with a couple of dashboards. And there is a dashboard for VictoriaMetrics cluster, and it shows metrics from the VictoriaMetrics cluster installation, which runs on the latest version under the constant pressure from our benchmark. And this playground is for people who just want to check how new update reflected on those metrics, if it's safe to update, how resource usage could change after the update, if everything is okay. It is also a good reference for resource usage to check how each component behaves under this load. And those dashboards are instrumented with Grafana data source, so you can see how WIS templates are working there. So yeah, I encourage everyone to check this playground and play with dashboards, see the metrics of the VictoriaMetrics cluster. Okay, thank you everyone. That was my part. The next in agenda is Ivan. 1 second, I will add Ivan's presentation. Okay. Ivan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Roman. Hello, everyone. And as a new team member, let me introduce myself. So yeah, my name is Ivan, and I joined VictoriaMetrics 2 months ago as a VP of product, and I'm responsible for our managed solution. And speaking about my background, I'm working in software development for more than 17 years. And I really love building products. So 10 years ago, approximately, I started working with startups and helped PandaDoc to grow, then supported Flow Health. And yeah, like my home startup was FiveRun. And during the hard times in 2021, helped to co-found I Can Help.host project. Yeah, and I think that it's a good time to introduce the managed VictoriaMetrics, because probably not everyone knows what it is. And so it's basically software as a service, and our core team builds and hosts and configures the enterprise version of VictoriaMetrics, so anyone can sign up and start using VictoriaMetrics in minutes. And now I want to give you like for those of you who already using managed VictoriaMetrics or just checked it and wants to know more about it, what's happened in the recent months, I'll tell you what's new. So we started like a huge project of restyling our user interface, and more UI improvements and especially UX improvements are on the way. And so currently you can see how like a sneak peek of how our updated UI looks like. Also, there was a roadblock for those of you who don't have AWS accounts and run your infrastructure on other clouds. And there will no way to sign up for managed VictoriaMetrics except like using AWS account. And right now we removed this roadblock. So you can just visit the sign up page, use your email or Google account to start using VictoriaMetrics. And yeah, as a like present, as a like gift, we give $200 of free credits to every sign up user. And so you don't need to provide any card to start using it, and just you can start building the POC or demo for your team, or just play around with it. And when you're satisfied with the results, and we hope that you'll be definitely satisfied with the results and the performance and simplicity of VictoriaMetrics, you can add a card. Also, it was like a blocker because the only way to pay for the service was through AWS Marketplace, and currently you can just add your card and start paying for the service. Also, we're getting mature with the service, and we published our SLA. And also added a status page where you can track if everything is okay with our service. And speaking about our plans, we already started working on designing the alerting and recording rules functionality inside of our managed solution. So stay tuned. We'll update you. And in case you have any questions or feedback, you can directly contact me in our public Slack or via email. Yeah, so I guess that's it from my side. See you in Managed VictoriaMetrics. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. I hope you have a link to share for those who can try it, who would want to try it. Okay, our next slide will be from Fred and Dima. Let me add.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
We won't start it from the last slide, but from the first one. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this meetup. And today, myself, alongside with Dima, who is a co-founder of VictoriaMetrics, we will shed a little light of what anomaly detection is, why does it matter, and how it's addressed here at VictoriaMetrics. So I recently joined VictoriaMetrics as a product manager and data scientist to work on anomaly detection and root cause analysis directions, and also to help Dima to handle this huge and complicated task better. So for those who are unfamiliar with the domain, anomaly detection, or AD hereinafter, can be referenced by just a task of identifying unusual patterns that do not conform with expected behavior in your data. Unfortunately, such patterns can introduce huge losses and significant challenges to your setups, to your business, if it's not properly and timely treated. So, as you all know who are here, monitoring itself is a hard task, but anomaly detection is an even harder task if we put it at top of monitoring. And anomaly detection for time series data, which is a metrics measured over time, is even harder one due to specific effects that time series introduces, like trends or seasonality, or even different anomaly patterns, as I have on the slides. And the first and the simplest one is point-wise anomalies. It's just a single instances or data points, new data, that is too far from the rest. And you can hear an example here, like sudden spike in patient vitals can identify some problem with health. Also, we have contextual anomalies for time series. Like we have some data points that is completely fine if they are put in some particular context, but otherwise they should be anomalies. For example, high energy usage at daily times is okay, but at night when everybody is asleep is a bad thing and may be considered as anomaly. Also, we have different kind of anomalies, which is collective anomalies. So data point itself cannot be considered as anomaly, but if we consider broader context or a set of points, it all introduce one single collective anomaly. And as an example, we can consider a series of login attempts from the same IP address, while one this attempt is totally okay, but several short-term connecting attempts is not okay. But why ML for anomaly detection? Maybe you just can set up some smart alerting rules with constant thresholds and be totally okay. Well, not so simple, unfortunately, because challenges that caused by time series nature of your metrics, it makes some simpler approaches like the one I mentioned just infeasible and way less effective for complex patterns when your metrics have seasonalities or when they are collective anomalies in your data. And also from different perspective, manual handling of complex metrics doesn't scale while your data grows. So what next? We'd like to introduce anomaly detection with the help of machine learning that we have at VictoriaMetrics. And here I pass the floor to Dima, who will continue.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. That was a good intro. So we implemented, looking at all of that, we implemented VictoriaMetrics Anomaly Detection Service. That's currently in enterprise offering, but feel free to request a trial version or book a demo with us. We will go into more details. It's an extension of alerting, essentially, with a way smarter capability for alerts. It's not just the simple thresholds, but handling all the above cases that Fred just talked about. And as the rest of VictoriaMetrics, we focused on performance, simplicity, and setting up and debugging, and extreme customizability. For example, it supports multiple models and also allows user even to plug in their custom models if they wish to, if they have a team of data scientists or they just want to test it. It's a separate service. It integrates well with the rest of VictoriaMetrics ecosystem. See the Getting Started guide. And as for development plans, we are going to integrate it closer with node exporter metrics, so the user won't need to figure out the needed metrics and queries, but they'll be provided out of the box. So we do that for you. And also a nicer looking graphical user interface, so it would be easier to present and play and trick with it. Currently requires a YAML config file similar to vmalert. So setting up. Also, we're going to integrate root cause analysis tool that can help you to figure out causal dependencies between anomalies. So that's really nice thing. And there's already POC available for testing of root cause analysis. Please contact us for a demo. And of course, more docs, more presentations, and more everything about it. So, yep, that's it. Feel free to give us a demo or request a trial license. And thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dima, for a nice presentation. Thank you, Fred, for starting it. It was good. Okay, the next slides are from Aliaksandr, and I'm adding his slides. Okay, so Aliaksandr will tell us about updates in VictoriaLogs.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Today I will talk about updates in VictoriaLogs, as Roman said. These updates are not so big because our focus was on VictoriaMetrics during last quarter, but the next quarter should have more focus on VictoriaLogs, and then the new changes will be better. What is VictoriaLogs? For those who doesn't know, this is a solution for log storage and log querying, log analysis from VictoriaMetrics. It works faster and uses less memory and less CPU, less disk compared to Elasticsearch or Grafana Loki. Our main competitors right now. So we released VictoriaLogs 3 months ago, last quarter, and the end of the last quarter, and since then we have the following new features in VictoriaLogs. We improved usability for time filter. This is the most frequently requested feature from users, from the early users. In VictoriaLogs, it is advised to specify time filter on the time where you can search for logs. And previously, it was non-trivial to specify these filters. You should write a long filter like now minus some duration. And we improved this filtering. Right now, you can just write time column and specify the duration, and VictoriaLogs will search for logs for this duration since now in backwards. Also, we added support for offset. You can specify offset for time filter, and it will be applied to the chosen time filter. This also makes queries easier to write and easier to read. The offset filter can be specified to also to the time range, like in this example. And time filter actually is very advanced and very, very complex thing. There is a documentation on this time filter. As you can see, it supports multiple formats, multiple different formats, and these formats allow you narrowing down time range for selected logs. And why we need to support such many different formats, because time filter is usually used most of the time in most queries when you investigate logs. And these formats simplify your task for searching and exploring your logs. The next important thing is that we added support for logs ingestion from PromTail. PromTail is the default log shipper from Grafana Loki. This means that you can just ship logs, switch from Grafana Loki to VictoriaLogs right now, and continue using PromTail for collecting logs and sending these logs to VictoriaLogs. The docs how to set up this PromTail is available by the link. For those who didn't know, VictoriaLogs already supported other popular log shippers such as FileBit, FluentBit, Logstash, and Vector. You can read documentation on how to set up these log shippers for sending data to VictoriaLogs by the following link. The next feature is support for read-only mode in VictoriaLogs. VictoriaLogs now supports command line flag, which can specify the minimum amounts of disk space which VictoriaLogs should preserve on disk. And when you ingest data to VictoriaLogs and it reaches this minimum amounts of disk space, then it switches to read-only mode and starts returning too many requests response code to the client, so the client can slow down and decide to stop sending data to VictoriaLogs. Previously, VictoriaLogs didn't have this feature, and it happily was filling the disk until it becomes full, and after that it happily crashed with out of disk space error. And this feature allows protecting from such errors right now. Then we improved observability of VictoriaLogs. Now it exposes metrics which shows the disk usage for actual data and for indexing data. It also exposes metrics for histograms for which measure query duration and measure data ingestion duration. We also improved scalability of data ingestion in VictoriaLogs. It has been appeared that there was some artificial limit in VictoriaLogs for data ingestion because of some kind of bug in the code, and this was limiting the maximum ingestion performance, data ingestion performance in VictoriaLogs by 40,000 log entries per second. And we identified and removed this limit, and now data ingestion performance of VictoriaLogs scales linearly with the number of available CPU cores to VictoriaLogs. And we already benchmarked it and reached 500,000 of logs per second performance on machines with 8 CPU cores, for instance. We also fixed a few bugs which were reported by our users. You can then look at these issues and read more about these bugs. And let's look at our roadmap for VictoriaLogs. What we are going to create during the next quarter, and also at first we want to add new data ingestion protocols for popular log shippers, for popular remaining log shippers which aren't supported right now. This is FluentD, syslog, and journald-D. We also going to add missing functionality to logs.ql, that's query language for VictoriaLogs, such as ability to look at the previous or next log entries in the stream for matching logs. This is the same functionality as grep when A, B, or C flags are passed to grep. If you're familiar with grep, you should feel what does it mean. We're also going to add missing data extraction and data transformation functions to logs.ql, which will allow extracting and transformation data from text logs messages. We also add post-filtering functionality to logs.ql, which will allow post-filtering found log entries based on the extracted data from the previous step. We also add stats calculations, such as the counting of the number of matching logs, the average duration of requests, for instance, maximum time of some requests, and so on. And we also are going to add missing functionality for sorting and limiting and paging of matching results or calculated results after statistics calculation. The next important feature which we are going to add is live tailing. It's functionality similar to tail follow command. the next important feature is we are going to improve web UI in VictoriaLogs. Right now, VictoriaLogs supports basic web UI, but we are going to improve it and make it competitive to existing web UIs for other systems, such as Grafana or ELK stack. And we are also thinking on how to add integration of VictoriaLogs into Grafana, because it's a frequently requested feature from our users. We are going to add support for snapshots and backups in the same way as these snapshots and backups work in VictoriaMetrics. We are going to support object storage, so VictoriaLogs could transparently store historical logs, move historical logs from local disks to object storage, and transparently query these logs. We are going to introduce cluster version of VictoriaLogs, to add alerting on logs, and you can look at our current roadmap by the following link. That's all. That's all the information about VictoriaLogs.
Thank you, Alex. You like always have the longest presentations. Okay, for those who are interested in VictoriaLogs more, Alex will be present on the conference called OSMC in Germany, Nuremberg. And on the next slides, you will see a link where Alex or other team members will be present on the conferences. Yeah, so if you're interested, follow the updates. Okay, let me set the new slide deck. Okay, mic to you, Dennis and JJ.
Yeah, thanks, Roman. Cool. We wanted to talk about some of the work and initiatives that have been happening around the VictoriaMetrics community. But to start off, we wanted to introduce ourselves because we have a small, in inverted commas, community team at VictoriaMetrics, and so we wanted to let you know who we are. Do you want to kick things off, please?
Oh, okay. Thanks, JJ. Hello, everyone. My name is Dennis, and I am support engineer at VictoriaMetrics team for the latest 2 years. Some community like Slack, GitHub, Issue, and Telegram, Reddit, Stack Overflow maybe. So that's my area where I'm working on. And maybe you see the answer from me or maybe emails from me. Today I will go through some community activity for the latest quarter, and today I will team up with JJ on these relations. JJ?
Yeah, thanks, Denise. And I'm Jean-Jérôme, or JJ, and I look after marketing and communications at VictoriaMetrics. I joined shortly after Denise. And you might have seen me communicate as well in our Slack channel community and elsewhere. And I've been working with Denise over the past while to look at our activities for the user community at VictoriaMetrics and see what's happening, first of all, and also see what we might be able to organize. And you can contact us on our Twitter, which you can see here. And Denise can also be contacted on GitHub.
Yes. If you talk about our channels, social media, what they are, what we use to communicate with our community. Basically, we use GitHub as well, Slack community. There are 2 Telegram channels, YouTube video blog and live stream, as well as we today see. Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Groups, and recently we added Mastodon. So please use this QR code to follow us in one of them. But what we what you need to choose. There are a lot of social media, social networks, some messengers. What to choose? Please, the better to choose them all. So please subscribe to us and keep in touch with our news and get more information about our new features and products. But we have one question. Maybe you use some other social network like Facebook, or I don't know, maybe someone use some federal network like Mastodon. So please write the comments or send us feedback in any social media, and we will join it. And today I want to tell you about some activities. Personally, I want to mark Arseny Zinchenko, where he and his blog read the fucking manual. Sorry about this. He have a Ukrainian and English great post about VictoriaMetrics, tutorial, intro, and how to use VictoriaMetrics in Kubernetes, and as well QR code to see this great post. DJ, could you continue?
Yeah, and then one really nice initiative also that's happening on this side, YouTube, by the channel is called Xavki, and it's but his name is Xavier Pestel. He's in France, I think, but he's certainly presenting in French, and it's an introduction to VictoriaMetrics. It's pretty detailed, and he's breaking VictoriaMetrics down into all of the different areas that you need to know about, and how, including, of course, how to get started. It is in French, so if any of you are French speakers, I would recommend to check it out. It's a really nice channel, first of all, and second, it's a nice YouTube series. And Denise added here the QR code also, so you can access the channel directly and check out the video series there. And then similarly, we want to also highlight today another activity. This happened this morning, in fact, but it's a user who's, I think, also based in France. His name is Julien Briot, but he presented in Belgium this morning about VictoriaMetrics and how to freshen up Prometheus with VictoriaMetrics. Quite like the title. It was in French though, and it was presented earlier today. What's really nice about this is that outside of his day job, Julien is a volunteer IT manager at one of France's best-known not-for-profit organizations, Les Restos du Cœur. And it's kind of amazing. I mean, VictoriaMetrics is being used in a lot of different places, lots of different use cases, but it's really nice to hear that we're being used, for such a purpose as well. And so we wanted to, first of all, bring this up, and then second, do a shout out to Julien for his talk today, which we hope went really well. And so if you are aware of any other initiatives around VictoriaMetrics, or if you have any ideas on how to contribute yourself, but you don't know how to get started, and maybe you would like to get some help, we'd love to know about this. And same thing, if you want to let us know here in the YouTube comments or on any other channel that we are present at. If you have any ideas, we'd love to work with you or hear from you. And then we'd love to then, present that at our next meetup, or, even have you speak at the next meetup. That would be amazing as well. Right, and speaking of our next meetup, so we'll do another meetup before the end of the year in December. We still have to set the date, but we want to give you a heads up. And coincidentally, we're also turning 5 this year. And so we wanted to use this last meetup of the year to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. And it would be really nice if we could organize this together. So if you have any party plans or any party plan ideas, we would love to hear about them. We have some ideas ourselves, which we've kind of listed here, but we'd love to hear from you about, what we could do for this 5-year anniversary. If you want to participate in some form or shape, if you'd like to talk about how you use VictoriaMetrics, that kind of thing, we'd love to hear it. We have, 2.5 months to organize it. So we wanted to give a first shout out here, and then we'll follow up with, communications in the different channels and to get your feedback on how we might organize this. But we will have another meetup before the end of the year, and we will be celebrating our 5-year anniversary. So looking forward to it, and hopefully we can do something with some of your ideas for that. And then finally, we just wanted to give you a quick summary of some of the news. First of all, the new content that we've been publishing. Some of the highlights there. There's a really nice blog post on, maybe you've heard about the HashiCorp case and how the business source license has been quite discussed over the summer, and but we are open source, and so this blog is about why we choose open source, and also why we think that the BSL is really not a great option, and it's really just a short-term fix. If you haven't read the blog, please click on the link here. We recommend reading it. Then there is a blog on generating and collecting logs. So this is all about related, of course, to Alex's talk just there on VictoriaLogs, but it gives you more insight into the usability and the cost of modern logging systems in general, and then why we recommend using VictoriaLogs to simplify your life. And then we have a roundup of the quarter before, which gives you a nice summary of everything that's happened just before. And then we've been in the news. So we were pretty happy about an article in the Register on how the CERN organization, and more specifically the CMS team there that looks after all of their monitoring, how they use VictoriaMetrics and how they've swapped out other databases to replace them with VictoriaMetrics. You might have seen it. There was a lot of discussions, and there still are, about this article and about why CERN did this, and what else is happening in at CERN with the databases. There was coverage in French and Italian, and there's still discussions around that. We had a nice article also in the new Stack on how VictoriaMetrics offers a good replacement for Prometheus as a time series monitoring solution. And then we've had other press coverage as well, and a nice blog by the engineering team at Grammarly on why they chose VictoriaMetrics and why they say it's faster, better, and cheaper than other solutions that they've worked with. So this was a nice article to read about as well. And finally, Roman mentioned that earlier. This is where you can find some of us between now and the end of the year. So we will be at KubeCon in Chicago in the USA, early November, 6th to 9th. So if you're going to be there, we'd love to talk to you and see you. Alex will be talking at the OSMC conference in Nuremberg in Germany. There is also a Go performance meetup early November, and we're planning our last meetup of the year for December, and we will share the date for that once we have it. And Denise, this is a QR code for all of our different social media platforms. And finally, we'd love to get your feedback on today's meetup, and we will send a link to this also in the YouTube chat just in a few seconds. But we'd love to get your feedback. It's a feedback form, and it'll just take a couple of minutes to fill out. It'd be great to hear if you have any suggestions for this meetup and the meetups in general, and if you have suggestions also on some of the other activities that we do, we'd love to hear about that, and please use this form to do that, and we'll follow up on your feedback. And that's it from us. Did I forget anything, Denise?
No, I think it's all what we have today.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, JJ and Dennis. Now I guess when the stress is off and we all finished with the slides, and now go to the Q&A session. So at Q&A session, you can ask any questions on the YouTube channel, and we will try to answer to them. If you are not watching this live, you can just left a comment under the video, and we will also try to address it once we notice it. Okay, so I've seen the quite a few questions. I will try to show them on the screen as well. I hope they are now visible. So the question is, are there any YouTube video tutorials on describing steps to install VictoriaMetrics cluster from ground up on AWS or any other cloud? So I can try to answer that, but it's a pity that we don't have those two members online right now who are usually do this and do this every day. So from my understanding, VictoriaMetrics is pretty good to run on Kubernetes and can be deployed via Kubernetes operator or Helm charts in a few clicks. And that's a pretty like a common way to deploy any software nowadays. So if you have Kubernetes environment somewhere in AWS or any other cloud, that's just a matter of using the right chart for you with the right settings. But if you don't like Kubernetes, like I do, you can just go old-fashioned way to deploy binaries or use anything else which will help you to orchestrate running multiple binaries. And yeah, that's mostly it. Nothing quite complicated. I believe VictoriaMetrics is far more easier to run in a cluster mode than something like Tanos or Cortex, because it just has less components, and only this simplifies the maintenance significantly. But again, if you have any questions regarding this, just ask in the public Slack channel. We look on all the messages every day, working day at least, and try to address them all. I guess I answered that. If no, please answer again. A question again. Anyone else has anything to add to this? Okay, so next question is about...
Sorry. I want to ask that let's post links to Helm chart and operator in our chat. You mentioned. I tried posting links, but it looks like that something doesn't work from my side. So if somebody else could post, then it would be great.
Okay, I'll try, because right now there is a question about managed, and I guess Ivan will try to answer it. So the question is, no, this wasn't a question. 1 second. The question is, any ETA on vmalert in managed VictoriaMetrics?
Yeah, so we're gonna roll out this feature gradually. So it will definitely go through like a beta testing stage, and we'll work with our existing users in order to shape this feature. So stay tuned. We hope to roll out the first internal version. I mean, like a beta private in November, somewhere early in November. So if you want to try it, just contact me on Slack, on our public Slack, or via email, and we can decide what to do and how we can make this feature available to you, and understand your challenges, your requirements as well. So somewhere in November will be the private release of the functionality, and somewhere in December or early January we'll be releasing it to the wider audience. Yeah, hopefully it answers the question.
Okay, the next question is also for managed. So do you guys support auto-scaling of the nodes?
Yeah, we do not support auto-scaling. This is, at the moment, this is done intentionally because we want to keep the pricing and the cost predictable. So basically how it works, you can just choose an instance like you do in EC2, for example, when you calculate your requirements. So we provide an estimates for the load, for the expected load, which a node can handle. And you can just decide and run a particular node. But at the moment, we do not support auto-scaling. but I'll take it as a good feedback. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I would like that while we don't support auto-scaling in our managed offering of VictoriaMetrics, we support manual scaling, upscaling of nodes. You can upscale, increase the number of CPU cores and memory and disk space at any time for existing deployments in VictoriaLogs, on VictoriaMetrics on managed cloud.
Okay, thanks, Alex. So another question is also related to managed. Any doc you could share explaining the cost of structure for the managed service? Explaining the cost structure, sorry.
Yeah, explaining the cost structure. The cost structure. So there is no. The short answer: there is no document like publicly available or published somewhere, but you can easily sign up for our managed solution, and it won't cost any money at all. And you can just try click a button, create deployment. From the screen, you'll see after signing in, and you can see the instances there with all of the expected load parameters, and you'll see immediately how much will it cost. But we are thinking already about exposing this information on our main website, so stay tuned. It will be available.
Yeah, I want to add that we have blog posts or multiple blog posts on VictoriaMetrics.com site, which compare the pricing structure of VictoriaMetrics and managed VictoriaMetrics with competing solutions such as Grafana Cloud, managed Prometheus at Google Cloud, or managed Prometheus at Amazon.
Yeah, I guess that blog post doesn't contain Grafana Labs offering actually, and it was made like a year ago or something like that. Since that, the pricing changed for Google, at least from what I know. So maybe Ivan, if you've seen that blog post, maybe it's worth to refresh it with new numbers, because since that time, managed got support of cluster version as well, and it has different pricing to single node. Yeah, so I believe that blog posts need to be updated.
Yeah, cool idea.
And could somebody post links to this blog posts if it's possible to chat?
Yeah, I'll try to find it. Okay, next question is, do you have any plan for vmlogs Grafana data source? Alex, do you want to take it, or should I?
Yes. There are such plans. When I mentioned the Grafana integration, I actually assumed this data source for Grafana for vmlogs. There are two ways to add support for Grafana in VictoriaLogs. The first way is to use existing data source for Grafana, for instance, Grafana Loki, and provide VictoriaLogs access via this existing data source. And the second option is to create our own data source specifically optimized for VictoriaLogs. And the second option is obviously better for us because we can implement all the support for all the features, important features for VictoriaLogs. But unfortunately, this way may not work well because we cannot control addition of this data source, VictoriaLogs data source, to Grafana. Grafana controls this addition of this data source, and that's the main roadblock. We are still thinking.
I can add more details. Like we are hesitating with adding it because we had not a really pleasant experience with Grafana data source for metrics. It is not official because we are lazy. No, it's because there is a really expensive sign-in process for that plugin, and probably everyone will be pretty surprised on the amount we need to pay only for that plugin to be signed signed up. And the same will be for VictoriaLogs plugin. They are not that complicated to implement, and we have a really great developer who does these pretty improvements, like amazing improvements to the Grafana data source. But to make it signed is a expensive operation, very expensive operation. That's why we're hesitating mostly. And we need to decide how to do it in the best possible option. So that's the main roadblock, actually, with having official Grafana plugins. Okay. The next question is, why do we need to add same snapshot mechanism? VictoriaLogs can support better way because of index. I'm not really sure I understand.
It's a nice question. Yes, VictoriaLogs has an improvement compared to VictoriaMetrics, how it stores data on disk. It splits data by days and stores every day in a dedicated directory, and it also stores index related to this data in the same directory. This means that you can freely move these directories between hosts, backup these directories, and do whatever you want with these directories between hosts. And VictoriaLogs will update its view of stored data accordingly. That's a great feature, which will simplify the integration with object storage for VictoriaLogs. As for backups, this feature also can simplify backups, but we still need snapshot mechanism, the same snapshot mechanism which exists in VictoriaMetrics, because we still need to make sure that the data which is used for backup isn't changed during the backup. And we cannot guarantee this when for per day data, because some logs with old timestamps can be written to previous dates which are backed up right now in this moment. And this means that the partition for this day will change during the backup and will break this backup. So we still need to make instant snapshot from this particular partition, and then make backup from this instant snapshot in the same way as VictoriaMetrics does.
Okay, thanks. The next question is, will Victoria APM exist or be developed, I guess? I would like to migrate the VictoriaLogs along with our VictoriaLogs along with our APM functionality.
Interesting question. We have plans, long-term plans to create APM solution from VictoriaMetrics, VictoriaLogs, and other VictoriaMetrics solutions, systems. Yeah, we definitely will make Victoria APM in the future, but the question is how far is this future? And the answer is that this probably will not happen in the next year, but probably in the next 2 years or 3 years.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, I guess, for anomaly detection, if it stands for AD. So how much resources used for anomaly detection per each metric?
Yeah, I can cover that. So it really depends heavily on the metric and the model used. There's even simple model with bad parameters can hog your CPU and RAM. But other than that, simple models can cover it pretty fast. So up to the point of just the query itself. So the slowest for the simple models, the slowest parameter that I would expect is the querying part of it.
Yeah, to add a few words to what Dima have said, It really depends on your data, like how much data do you query for your metrics, and it also depends on the type of model that you use. But generally, there is no simple rule to estimate it before it starts running it. And VM Anomaly itself as a service, it's a kind of lightweight, so it operates on what you give it.
It's kind of similar to answering how metrics scale, how fast is metric scale. It depends on what the particular query is.
Okay, so that should be all the questions I was able to find. Yeah. So for those who are watching it on offline, I will repeat again. You can leave your comments below the video, and we will try to address them later once we find them. Okay, thank you everyone who joined this meetup.
Thank you, Roman.
Yeah, we really appreciate the involvement of community. We really appreciate what contributors do, because this is how we can understand what is happening in the real world with monitoring and observability. Your issues, your feature requests exactly show how the product should be developed. Of course, sometimes we need to say no, but we do it only for keeping product simple, and because we will need to maintain it in future, and we're trying to keep it simple and reliable. Yes, but we are still open for any comments that you have, any feature requests that you have. Please reach us if you want to post something or collaborate somehow. We'll be happy to help. Okay, I found a new question. So the question is, what can be the tolerable churn rate compared to active time series with the new latest release? Alex, want to take it, or should I?
The tolerable churn rate didn't change in the latest releases compared to older releases. So the rule of thumb is to have a churn rate which is lower than the number of active time series during the last churn rate for the last day should be lower than the number of active time series. That's in this case, VictoriaMetrics should work good. And if you have daily churn rate higher than the number of active time series, then the situation is not good. But VictoriaMetrics still can process such workload and work without issues, without significant issues, I would say. But its efficiency can suffer in some ways, and its resource usage can increase in this case.
Yeah, think of it like a penalty that you have. If there is no churn rate, then everything works on the happy path, on the most optimal path. Everything is cached, everything is indexed, everything is up to date. But when you have a churn rate, you are constantly registering new time series, which is more expensive operation comparing to requesting already registered time series. So if you have non-zero churn rate, you're already paying some price. And the more churn rate is, the higher price is in terms of resources. Of course, you can throw more hardware on the problem, but still it is always, there is always a smarter way to deal with it, is to check the data, the data that you write into the database and how you query it. And for this purpose, we have these cool tools like Cardinality Explorer, which helps you to understand what data do you have and what data is the most expensive in your index DB, and what is causing the most of the pain for time series database. And we also have tools to deal with this cardinality stuff, like streaming aggregation. So I mentioned that we are doing a lot work to contribute to streaming aggregation, and that some users using it, and they use it specifically to address high churn problem, because they eliminate those metrics which contribute to the churn the most, but still getting use of it. They still get in the right metrics from them. They still calculate the right numbers. They calculate SLOs. They calculate the rates, I rates, all this stuff. So, but keeping their database free of this churn. So they having those do not overuse their resources, hardware resources, and still keep a database fresh and really quick, really fast in terms of responses. So with churn rate, it is mostly always the question of how you deal with the data that you have. VictoriaMetrics will do its best, but yeah, churn rate is something you would like to eliminate in any case. Okay. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much, everyone who attended it. Thank you, everyone who prepared slides and had a talk today. Yeah, I guess we'll see you again in December.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Goodbye.
See you.